live by the X and die by the X. Straight edge forever. I don't get to talk about being straight edge that often, but I like to every once in a while, and that's why I'm super stoked about this next band that I'm checking out. If you don't know what straight edge is, it's simply the lifestyle of keeping a clean lifestyle of no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no poisons in your life. That's simply all it is. Yeah! What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Matt Diazable, coming at you with a new music review. Thank you for coming on by. I appreciate it. Today, I am checking out a band called Persist. I don't know if it's xPersistx or just Persist. Either way, I'm checking out this band with their latest debut album called No Sympathy. From now on, I'll just call them Persist to make it easier for me. But if you've never heard about this band, they are a straight edge hardcore band based out of Michigan and have been around since about 2023. They've put out a demo and I think an EP, and this is their first debut album. So they've been making some moves for themselves and everything. If you're a fan of, X Tyrant, X Represent, Terror, and Until the End, you might find something you like here because these bands kind of very, I want to say, influence this band's sound. From what I could find about the band, they wanted to, invoke that mid-2000s heavy hardcore sound. And I got to say, I think they do a pretty good job of doing that. And I discovered this band because another band I know called Nuff Said shares some members in this band. In that band, Nuff Said, I'm really cool with those guys. They're great guys. So, I found out, they have another band and share members. I was like, of course, I'll check out the music and everything. And also this band and Nuff Said are both on the same label, which is called Top Floor Tapes, if I'm correct. And that's ran by Mr. Jimmy out in Detroit. Very lovely guy. So all the bands he puts out, I have to always check out because he's dope. This Michigan straight edge band just comes out swinging with their debut No Sympathy here because it is a record built on raw aggression and unwavering stance of straight edge. And across 9 tracks, the band really leans into very straightforward metallic hardcore, channeling, frustration, social anger, and personal struggles through a very stripped down sonic sound. And the album opens up with the song Persist, where, there's a very ominous bass line and some dark samples set the stage for what should be, a very crushing statement of intent. Unfortunately, this track highlights some of the band's biggest hurdles and struggles. And that is, production that feels very muffled and instrumentation that feels a little bit too familiar. The simplicity of the riffs and the drums can sometimes feel like, they're more like sketched out ideas than really fully fleshed out songs and ideas. So I want to play a clip of this song so you get a sense of just how the production isn't the strongest as it could be. And overall, it's a pretty simple, basic style of hardcore. It's not necessarily too bad, but it feels like I've heard this before somewhere else. And this theme kind of carries over into the songs Pushing Back and Trap, where both the tracks are loaded with some heavy bass and driving grooves, but are weighed down by vocals that are just too far in the mix, like too far back in the mix. I will say though, there are, flashes of promising prospects and brilliance coming from this band because they got some groovy 2-steps, some dynamic dissonant style riffs, and some moments where the bass tones kind of cut through and feel like a real force to be reckoned with. Yet often the songs kind of either end abruptly or they fall back into a very basic pattern, and the vocals are just so far back that it leaves the listener wanting more in terms of development. It's like, oh, this is good, but it's just not all the way there. So here's a clip of Trap so you get a sense of just the basic patterns and just how far away the vocals sound. It can be so much more with a little bit more, I guess, tightening of their work. Still, No Sympathy, it's not without any of its fire moments. Like on the songs Unbroken and Weight of Regret, the riffs kind of open up a little bit more on these tracks, and the drumming seems to add a little bit more texture in their presence and just their overall dynamic playing. On these tracks, the band seems to be locking in a little bit more, like, I guess, a sound that is very distinctly their own, even if the execution is still a little bit, I guess, lost, and they're still kind of finding their footing. The song No Peace kind of stands out conceptually because it leans more into using samples, and it talks about police brutality that, drives home this darker undertone to this record. There's a sincerity in the message, and it really helps carry the song, even if musically it doesn't really deliver as well, but it still has some decent moments in the song. So here's a clip of No Peace for you. It feels like they have a little bit more of an identity here. Towards the back end of the album with the song Turn the Key, Defy, Defend, Depose, push harder into that metallic territory. Punchy drums and stronger backing vocals, it feels like the band is starting to figure out how to layer their sound for it to sound more impactful. The breakdowns hit harder, the bass cuts deeper, and the riffs start to carve out this sharper edge to them. Unfortunately, the vocal delivery still feels a bit off, both in timing and overall presence, because it's keeping the songs from really reaching their full potential. Overall, No Sympathy feels like a raw demo of a band still trying to carve out their identity. The passion is here, the edge is undeniable, and the straight edge ethos bleeds into every track. But the record really struggles with, muddled production, simplistic songwriting, and underdeveloped vocals that really, leave the songs, a lot of the songs, feeling like their sound could be interchangeable. But like I said before, there are glimpses of promise here with their very weighted bass lines, their very metallic style riffing, and the thematic backbone of resistance and regret. They got great lyrics. Now, if the band can, tighten up their song structures, sharpen their vocals, and push past like familiar influences, then they have a very good foundation to grow into something more distinctive in the future. But for now, No Sympathy just, leaves a very blunt statement of intent, and that is rough, unpolished, but undeniably sincere. So with this latest release from xPersistx, I said I wouldn't say it, but I said it again, I would have to give No Sympathy a good and decent 6.5 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me what you think. Give me some other straight edge bands I should check out. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.